Anyway, let's talk about action this week. Right at the start of this week, we said, well, we're starting off a new series. January wasn't that great, and the January jinx we couldn't break. But the FIs were net short, and that seems to be a good omen, actually, because you look at the April series or the November series, the FIs were net short, and we saw a big rally. In this week itself, the Nifty was up close to around 500 points, which is just 2.5%. But yet, FIs being net short is actually a good omen. Two big cues, and both played out well. The FOMC made first thoughts were, hey, he's sounding too hawkish. But, the reaction was that maybe we won't get a cut in March, but we'll get a cut in May. And that's par for the course. And that's what global equities as well started, aligning with. The finance minister, as we said, well, the budget had fiscal prudence and the capex expenditure will continue at around 11% or incremental on a higher base. So the street liked that. For this week itself, the Nifty was up. But the Nifty Bank actually did a relative outperformance. The Nifty Bank was up close to around 3% even after pulling back a little bit. And that's the first time in 2 months that you had in a single week, the Nifty Bank outperformed what the Nifty did do. But the real party was in the small and the mid caps. The small cap index, after seeing such a big rally, was up 5.5% odd. And from the frontline names itself, you had a lot of big names that did well. But the real party was in the small cap index. And forget the Nifty Bank and the small cap index as well. The PSU banking index. Forget about stocks. That was up 12% for the week itself. So that had a big rally out there. And from the frontline names, from the PSUs itself, ONGC, BPCL, as well as Power Grid, all of them were up between 10 to around 18%. On the downside, some result reactions weren't great. And some of them larger names in the Nifty. So L&T and ITC, they're larger names in there. They didn't, deliver very great numbers. And the stocks actually were big underperformers. Even Titan did sell off post its numbers. So they were relative underperformers for the week itself. What are the triggers going ahead? Well, next week, we'll hear from the RBI governor. So, some kind of trajectory on that front will be important. We'll have the remainder of the Q3 results. And sometimes the latter part brings you some surprises, sometimes on the negative side. So let's hope that doesn't happen. The FI flows have not yet come back, so we'll wait by. And HDFC Bank, one was saying it's not going to perform. That's okay. Let it consolidate. Don't let it fall more. At least for this week, it was up close to around 1%. So let it just hold one end up and let the non-striker, so to call it, do bulk of the batting. I think that's the way.
For me,
Well, thanks so much for tuning in to CNBC TV18. Make sure you follow us and stay updated on all our social media platforms.